Why was Jimin, the beloved star of BTS, rushed to the hospital after intense military training? What did Bang Si-hyuk know that even Jungkook and Taeyong didn't? And why is everyone asking, could this have been prevented? The silence was louder than any anthem BTS ever sang. Taiti began with a whisper, a flicker of unease that spread like wildfire through fandom forums and army circles. On a chilly morning, a source close to the Republic of Korea Armed Forces leaked a statement so brief yet so earth-shattering that it sent millions into a spiral of shock, fear, and speculation. Park Jimin has been hospitalized due to extreme exhaustion following an intensive training cycle at the military camp. No fan could have predicted the torrent of emotions that would follow. But even more unpredictable was what came next. Bang Si-hyuk, the founding father of BTS's legendary global rise, breaking his silence in an exclusive interview. And what he said has left even the most loyal fans questioning everything they thought they knew about how idols survive and suffer once the spotlight fades and the discipline of duty begins. This wasn't supposed to happen, Bang said. Not to Jimin. He was hesitant at first. The interview, conducted at a quiet studio in Gangnam under conditions of complete confidentiality, was originally scheduled to focus on HYB's future plans and global expansion strategies. Yet, moments before cameras rolled, Bang adjusted his glasses, exhaled deeply, and muttered something that would change the course of the conversation entirely. I think it's time the truth is known. About Jimin. Was it guilt? Grief? Or simply the weight of witnessing someone he had mentored and cherished from a teenage trainee to a global icon? Now lying in a military hospital bed, frail and fighting fatigue that no one had seen coming. What followed was not a formal statement. It was a confession, an unraveling, a delicate stitching together of details, warnings, and missed signs that pointed to a tragic reality. Park Jimin, BTS's angelic vocalist, known for his strength in silence and grace under pressure, had been hiding more than just pain. He was carrying the weight of unrelenting expectations, loneliness, and an invisible battle with self-inflicted pressure during his mandatory service. It wasn't just physical, Bang said, voice low. It was everything, but what is everything? And why didn't anyone, not even his closest friends Taeyong or Jungkook, see it coming? To understand what led to Jimin's hospitalization, we have to rewind to a letter. A letter that was never meant to be read aloud. It was during the second month of his military service that Jimin reportedly wrote a private note to one of the staff at HYB. The letter, now confirmed by multiple sources close to the company, was a heartfelt reflection of his experiences in the army. But one line in particular has haunted Bang Si-hyuk since the moment he read it. I don't want to be the weak one. Not when they're all watching. Not when Jungkook still calls me strong. That sentence, Bang admitted, was the breaking point. I felt I had failed him. We all had. The weeks leading up to Jimin's collapse were filled with unusual signs, though subtle enough to be misread or dismissed. Fellow recruits noted that Jimin often volunteered for extra drills. He never requested time off. He stayed behind to clean, run laps, and perfect his shooting stance. But beneath this stoic discipline, there were moments when he seemed distant. Not depressed, not disturbed, just strangely determined. Was it pride? Was it a need to prove himself even after earning the love of millions? Or was it something far more private? A fear of being forgotten in a world that moves on fast? Bang Si-hyuk believes it was all of the above. And more. Jimin thought he needed to be perfect, he explained. Even in the military. Even when no one was watching. And yet, someone was watching. Taeyong. Unbeknownst to fans, Kim Taeyong had written a confidential note to Bang just 1 week before Jimin's hospitalization. The letter, now seen as eerily prophetic, detailed his concerns about his bandmate. He's too quiet, Taeyong wrote. He doesn't sleep much. He trains harder than the rest of us. I think he's punishing himself for something, but I don't know what. That letter never reached Jimin. Bang, unsure of how to address it without alarming the others, kept it close. But it was already too late. The night before Jimin collapsed, he had run 5 extra kilometers after lights out. Alone, without informing his commander. It was an act of both discipline and desperation. The following morning, Jimin was found unconscious beside the barracks, his pulse faint and body drenched in sweat. He was immediately rushed to the hospital where doctors confirmed he had suffered a severe physical crash due to exhaustion, dehydration, and extreme stress. But the medical report was only part of the story. His body gave up, Bang admitted. But his heart, it had been crying out long before. Since the incident, both Jungkook and Taehyung have reportedly requested limited public appearances. Sources say the two are in regular contact with Jimin's family and have been allowed to visit him under strict conditions. Yet even in the safety of that hospital room, Jimin, ever the performer, put on a smile. According to a nurse during one of Jungkook's visits, Jimin whispered, "Don't tell him I broke. He still thinks I'm stronger than I really am." That line alone has become a haunting echo in fan communities. Forums are flooded with messages like, "Jimin, you don't have to prove anything," and "You're already more than enough." But perhaps the most heartbreaking revelation came at the end of Bang's interview. "He didn't collapse because he was weak," Bang said, tears pooling. "He collapsed because he refused to show weakness. That's what destroyed him." So why did Jimin push himself so hard? What was he trying to prove to his fans? To BTS? To himself? Bang hinted at something more complex than anyone expected. A combination of survivor's guilt, watching his bandmates go through hardships while he felt he hadn't yet suffered enough, and a deep unspoken fear that the world might forget him if he didn't remain perfect. He was afraid, Bang said. Afraid of being replaced, of being irrelevant, and most tragically, of disappointing those who still believed in him. It is a pain far too familiar to idols who transition into the disciplined, rigid world of military life. But for Jimin, the stakes were higher, the expectations heavier, the silence more deafening. Today, as he rests in a military hospital ward, Park Jimin's story is no longer one of physical collapse, but emotional awakening. A reminder that even the brightest stars can burn out if they're not allowed to rest. A reminder that vulnerability is not a weakness, but a necessity. Fans have since launched a campaign called #RestWellJimin, advocating for awareness around mental health and the pressures K-pop idols face during enlistment. Support has poured in from all over the world. Letters, flowers, messages. But the most moving response came from Taehyung, who posted a simple line on his fan community. "We should have noticed. I should have noticed." And Jungkook? His silence has been absolute. No posts, no statements. But perhaps silence is all he can offer right now. Or perhaps, like Jimin once said, silence is the sound of someone hurting in the most human way. Bang Hyuk concluded his interview. He left with a quiet warning. "If we don't start listening, not to the voices but to the silences, we'll lose more than music. We'll lose the very people who gave it meaning." This isn't just a story about Jimin. It's a story about what we expect from our heroes, and what it costs them to keep giving it. And if we truly love them, maybe it's time we stop asking for more, and start giving them what they've always given us. Unconditional love. Without expectations. Without conditions. Without silence. The door to Jimin's hospital room remained closed for days. The guards stationed outside weren't there to protect a celebrity. They were there to protect a soul. Inside, Park Jimin lay motionless, surrounded by soft white sheets and the sterile buzz of hospital equipment that felt more like a prison than a sanctuary. Yet this room, no matter how quiet, was never truly silent. It echoed with the memories of voices he carried in his heart: Taehyung's laughter, Jungkook's teasing, ARMY's chants, and Bang Hyuk's stern yet caring advice whispered during late-night studio sessions. But all those voices seemed to dim when Jimin heard one that mattered most: his own.